I wanted to tell the story of January 6th, be 3 years ago, it would be January 6th, 2016. I was on the streets of Mexico City on Paseo de Reforma, and I walked by a protest rally for the massacre of the students in Ayotzinapa, and sorry for the mispronunciation, but and I saw all the faces of those students, and I was a little overwhelmed, because in those faces I saw the faces of my own sons and their friends. They're just kids, 16, 15, 19, the best kids. They wanted to be students. And it hit me really hard emotionally, because I realized, imagine if that had happened to my sons. I don't know if I could go on another day on this planet if your own sons had such a horrible death. And for what? Because they're making a little protest? You don't die for that. And the horror of it really hit me, and I just started weeping on the streets of Mexico City. And then I got a little disconcerted, because the last thing you want on the streets of Mexico City is someone to call the police and say, oh, there's a man who's got problems. If the police come this way, I'm going the other way. So I got myself together, and I was heading towards Chapultepec on Paseo, on the right-hand side of the street. I know exactly where I was. And there was tears coming down my face, and there was a man coming towards me, European, and I said, don't worry, don't worry. You know, I'm not in trouble. I just had an epiphany with these children, realizing what a horror it was. And I went back to explain, and I showed him the posters of these students that were murdered there, 43 of them. All because it was an inconvenience for the mayor's wife while she was having a social event. And I realized, you know, in that moment, if something's not done, these students will be forgotten as another tragedy, and life goes on, and they're buried in history. And I said, you know, we're going to do something. I'm going to make an opera about those students, and it's going to be the greatest opera in the history of Mexico. And they'll never be forgotten. And he said to me, the name of your opera is Catrina. And I was like, who's Catrina? I've only been going to Mexico 40 years. I don't speak Spanish. I don't know nothing. And he said, Catrina, the Dia de Muertos. Ah, okay, I get it. So I went back to my hotel, and I sent a text to Lydia Rendon, the beautiful Mexican mezzo-soprano, the Carmen of Mexico, passionate, strong, a woman, beautiful singer. And I said to Lydia. So the thing is, I got back to the hotel, and I called Lydia. That's a picture of the students that I saw on the street. So I got back to the hotel, and I called Lydia. I said, you won't believe what happened. I had this epiphany on Paseo, and we're going to make an opera, and the opera is called Catrina. And she said, Brian, you won't believe this. And I said, what? Tell me, Lydia. I have a tattoo of Catrina on my body. I am Catrina.